Hey everyone, and what's up? Thanks for waiting a little bit extra there, and welcome to this week's weekly live stream. We're here to hang out, play some Croesus, talk about Croesus, but most importantly, you're going to get to watch a bunch of us from the RuneScape team taking on Croesus in the first ever skilling boss to enter RuneScape. Joining me today on camera, with plenty more JMods behind the scene, we have Mod Shrew, content developer on Croesus Front.
Hey.
Enthusiastic hello there, Shrew.
Okay, alright. Hey. No,
There you go.
hello.
Give it the whole YouTube pizzazz, you know? You got to get the what's up, everybody.
Here.
There you go. And then also joining us is, you know him, you love him, it's Mod Sponge.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
So just before we get started, we're going to get straight into the action here and just talk as we go a little bit about this boss. Some of you may have already taken down Croesus, some of you may be still looking for your first kill. I've been out there in public kills today, seeing public kills working and people racking up the KCs on the group bossing world. So if you're looking for a world to find people doing group bossing instances, head there because there's some really talented people on there. Just a couple of things to let you know before we get started. One special day, if for those of you who don't know, this is an initiative that supports an amazing charity that helps people with physical disabilities enjoy video games. And in the process of grabbing one of these packs, you're also supporting that charity as well, which is a really cool thing. And for 1 week only, there's a new pack up, one special day. That includes a Felix outfit with a one special costume, a Felix retexture with a snowy short hair look, 5 aura refreshes, 5 life refreshes, 5 Slayer VIP tokens, and a box of clue scrolls. So you can pick that up in the marketplace in-game for 250 rune coins. As I said, it's for a great cause, so check it out. And then for those of you who are interested, we've got a partnership with Xbox Game Pass to give away a pack. That goes live at 6 PM today. So if you have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you can grab a perk pack from that store at 6 PM today, and that includes 5 advanced pulse cores, 5 cinder cores, 3 portable skilling packs, 3 large protein packs, 35 treasure hunter keys, 200 rune coins, and a green imp pet. So if you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can head over there. That's at 6 o'clock today, UK time, not game time. So that'll be 5 game time if you're looking to grab that. That's it for the announcements, though. We're going to get right into it. We're going to talk a little bit about Croesus. Just before we get our first fight going, Shrew, obviously, big proud moment. You've introduced the first ever skilling boss to the world of RuneScape. How are you feeling about what you've seen so far? How was yesterday watching everyone take it on for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. Yesterday was an awful lot of fun, bouncing between tons of different streams. Watching the first hour is a little bit painful at times, you know, just while everyone was learning it. But yeah, it's great to see, and great to see now that, you know, people are really starting to master it. People are doing the most efficient, or what we feel is the most efficient methods, and like even public instances now are less difficult, and people are getting like consistent kills in public instances, which is great to see. Incredible seeing how much people have been making from some of the drops. Obviously, like I'll say, there's obviously been a few bugs and hiccups here and there, but we've done our best to react as kind of quickly and as appropriately as possible. So hopefully, no one's having any major issues. But yeah, really happy with kind of response. And yeah, it's been fab seeing kind of all the tweets and posts, and yeah, watching people doing stuff that we tried, like duos and things, and people smashing it, and we've not been able to do it. So yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, and we, for those of you who are interested, if you've been encountering any issues, our team have been doing a lot of work to make sure we capture them and work with the QA teams and everything to make sure those are logged. For the latest updates on known issues, something you may not know is that we've actually included them in our survival guide. So if you go to runescape.com, there's a Croesus survival guide that kind of gives you the need-to-knows. There's an active known issues list in there that also shows what hotfixes have gone out, and also kind of key issues we're tracking. It won't capture every single minor issue, like in minute detail, but it kind of covers the ones we're seeing people talk about the most, so you know we're on it. So keep an eye on that. You can keep refreshing it. The community team are kind of focused on getting that all up to date and keeping that up to date. So big shout out to all the hard work they're doing to do that for you. All right, okay, we're going to do our first run. I'm going to be doing a mining run here. Shrew, I'm going to ask you to do something because I know you're playing with us, but as best you can, I'd love for you to give a bit of a commentary on what people are seeing. Are you able to come to the mining node with me potentially, so that we can coordinate? Like, how should we do this?
I mean, I'm set up for fishing, so
All right,
we've
fine.
got a problem
Okay,
here.
I tell you what, I will do it, and I'll ask you questions, and we'll try and do this color commentary between us. So I'm just going to go to the mining side. So if everyone, all our JMods who are joining us in the background want to get set up, everyone is rocking their account so they can get all the drops as well, which is great. Like, no waste here on drop opportunities
Can't
for
be
sure.
wasting that,
So,
KC.
okay, just before we start, can you give us a very top level kind of what is the key thing going on here? Like, if you had to explain in an elevator pitch, 10 seconds, roughly what the core mechanic of this boss is, how would you explain it? Just to give people a baseline to build from when they see this.
I mean, for people that like, don't know the encounter at all, haven't tried it, essentially, Croesus is awoken, and you need to take Croesus down. To do that, you need to clear out essentially these dead creatures which fungus is growing on, that's giving Croesus the majority of its strength. The more of the corner nodes you remove, the weaker Croesus gets. Using the fungus that you gather from there, you restore statues. Praying at those statues then temporarily, like very briefly, rekindles the spirits of the heroes that were buried there. Doing that then kind of like creates a bang essentially, which puts Croesus into a subdued state. This allows you to get underneath it and like actually gather from its core. That gathering action deals damage to Croesus, and that's how you take it down. Very high level.
Yeah, so what you'll see us doing today, for those of you who haven't seen it, because I can see some of you in chat actually haven't killed the boss yet, so that's cool. We're all kind of assigned roles, so we're basically all on different resource nodes, and we're all kind of assigned to different statues. We haven't actually worked out who's doing what statue or running what statue, I don't think, have we, in the chat? True? We've just decided nodes, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we should probably, in corners, we'll have to quickly decide if they're running 90 degrees or 180 degrees anti-clockwise to the appropriate statues. We'll probably do that.
Yeah, so I'll do mining to I'll take mining to fishing, I think, for anyone who's out there on the mining nodes who's listening. And that's usually what you'll hear. So if you're out there in a public instance, usually people say like, hey, I'm going to focus on running, say, like mining to woodcut or whatever. I think it's not woodcut, is it? It's hunter, but then that refers to the nodes that we kind of use at the start. You'll see how it goes. Hopefully this will be better. There's some amazing guides out there already that are really helpful, that have maps and everything, so you can learn the positions. And it's one of those things where once you kind of get to grips with it, you can really start to run it. So let's kick off the encounter. Do you want to start it, Shrew?
Alright, let's go. Oh, wait. Okay, no.
So why don't you talk about this first phase? So what are we doing right now?
So yeah, pretty much at this point, everybody is gathering resources from the nodes, trying to clear it out as fast as, well, as quick as possible, really. At the same time, we need to be reacting to Croesus's attack. So a second ago, it just fired a spore attack, which leaves like a poisonous spores, essentially, that we have to avoid. Just now, it's fired off a teleport mechanic. So you just maybe saw some people get teleported, so that's essentially goes there.
They were demonstrating it. They were just demonstrating it. That's all they were doing.
And then, again, more attacks. The slime fungus, which is one of the biggest hitters, or it definitely is. So yeah, that essentially chases players, and yeah, there's a big hit, drains a lot, like 50%, I think it is, of their stats.
Yeah, so do we want to, for those who don't know, what is that kind of bar under the health bar, and how does that go up?
So underneath the health bar, that is Croesus's progress essentially towards its win state. So you losing as a group, like this is essentially, if it gets to 100%, Croesus has got too strong. You know, we can't kill it. So yeah, it's essentially the main group lose state. That goes up at like a fixed rate just throughout the encounter. But at the same time, the more times you make mistakes, the more
like
time you get hit by mechanics, the quicker that bar goes up. So, you know, like when the energy fungus spawns at Croesus's base. Not reacting to that and things will geez, sorry, I'm going to try not to die.
Same as it here. Whenever you go through the mushroom minefields are the killer.
I can't remember what I was saying now because I got distracted. Yeah, I actually have no idea what I was talking about. So
you were just talking about this guy. So yeah, so every time you individually get hit and you have your stats strained, which is what makes the bar go up, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Restore.
So again, like this energy fungus, if it's not dealt with,
we haven't rotted mining, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just wait till it gets a bit higher first. They're all cleared.
They are all cleared, yeah. So yeah, the energy fungus. If we left that, then we would have just lost because that is like that just gives a massive boost towards Croesus' end state. It's not like 100%. Yeah, like we're actually getting through because we've got quite a large team. We're getting through this pretty quick. So now I think we'll hold off. So we've built I think half of the statues. We can pray at all of them I think now. So we'll pray.
Yep. And you can stack this time, right? So whenever you pray and open up the boss and can go after this, you can actually stack this time, correct?
Yeah, that's it. So like your most efficient. Well, I don't know whether it's most efficient. It's what we always do anyway internally. We trigger them all at the same time, so we have the maximum amount of time underneath the process and can just focus and don't have to worry about running out, running back in. At the same time, we're all paying attention to this gathering because you'll see particles from the central node. There's white, green, and red. Depending on colour, depends on the kind of response. If you re-click. On the...
yeah, see, there you go. I just demonstrated it.
Disgrace. Healed it.
It's funny because whenever I do that in public, everyone's like, "Stop spam clicking." I'm not spam clicking. I just reacted fast to seeing a particle effect.
Yeah.
It's more embarrassing than spam clicking.
Yeah, so like red heals, white is a 500 damage bonus, and then green is 1,000 damage bonus. They visually appear as like poison damage hit splats.
And that's a kill right there.
Yeah,
good job, RS team. As a note as well, Rubik's asking, is there any chance we could change up the effect colors for people who are colorblind? Is that something we're aware of, feedback-wise?
I had someone tweeted me earlier today and mentioned that there's some people having issues with the green-red due to colorblindness. So it's on on our radar. We'll take a look and see if there's some more appropriate colors that we can get there. Yeah. So
by the way, Lee, you did have me in your. Sorry, I was just responding to chat. Lee, you did have me in your public lobby because I remember your RSN if it's the same. So hi, hello, thanks for carrying me. Okay, so let's talk a bit just before we get the next run going. What feedback are we currently aware of or looking at from day one, if any, at this point? Obviously, we are only on day 2. I don't know how long you want to let this settle. And are there any kind of bugs or key things that we're working on that you would like to tell players about that we're aware of and fixing?
I mean, we've addressed a couple of we've hotfixed some feedback already. Things like, obviously, Iron Men and non-Iron Men could engage in a non-public instance, in a public instance, sorry, but they couldn't in a private. That should now be fixed, so you can, as intended, play together. There's been a handful of bugs which we've hotfixed as well. I think we've only been hotfixing things that are kind of crucial to, or nothing luckily broke the instance, but there were things that could be quite damaging. Like there was a couple that, like the Leviathan nodes, be deleted. They have been hotfixed, so you should no longer be seeing issues there. But yeah, there's a handful of more bugs and feedback. Specifically, I'm not entirely sure unless someone else has spawned because I was taking too long.
I've just told everyone, I'm like, we're just going to keep running it so people can keep seeing the kills and hopefully learn something as well. So,
but yeah, we're not there's a handful of feedback and things we're not going to just be instantly reacting to because the encounter, like, and how the encounter is perceived changes a lot throughout. You know, throughout the first week, especially as players learn the encounter, players start mastering it. So you know, we're watching a lot, but we'll react. We'll react when and where is appropriate.
Shrew is discovering the fun of when you have to play on stream and talk,
no,
and how difficult that can be.
This is a nightmare. This is
right.
unbelievably difficult.
Yeah, that's why it was really depressing when you know, like I basically was on stream playing kind of Carapac and just dying and dying, and as soon as I came off stream I was fine. I was like, okay, yep, like sweet, thanks, just do it in front of everyone watching. So for those of you asking who we're watching, you're watching me. That's why I've got the scrubby skills, and you see the actual skills used for this fight. Oh, I just realized I'm stuck. So this is another mechanic as well. If you see the sticky fungus, this is something actually that you can do, is you can bring some protein logs, and then that lets you kind of just light a fire on any of the sticky ones and get yourself out. I saw some people in pub instances just thinking that only other people can get you out of that sticky fungus, but if you have logs, you can light a fire and save yourself. So.
Or an Orphan Furnace core.
Oh, really? I've got Orphan Furnace core.
Yeah, so you can just put that in your offhand slot and you get up free. I think the wood cutting offhand does it as well.
Yep, the Summon's Fire Torch.
So that's awesome. Doubly useful, right? Obviously, if you can afford one or get lucky enough to get one as a drop right now, because I know they're on the high end right now.
Yeah, I'll go grab Orphan Furnace core. Oops. I should just be surging and bladed diving through that, but I always seem to take a ton of damage when I do that. I never seem to line it up properly. I'll try and do it this time. Sorry if I ruin the run.
We took ages to clear out this node because I was so distracted. Just doing the wrong thing constantly.
Well, that was just the world's worst move. I'm going to get knocked out. Yeah, I got KO'd. That was actually just because I was facing the wrong way. Yeah, this is the fun of like playing on. We use a tool to remote into a desktop, so I have like extra latency, which is very interesting at times. Let's go to free cam and see if we can show the fight. So this is actually ideal, because I can actually. It was all planned, I swear. So you see the fight going down. So usually, how do the roles usually work in the current kind of meta? Obviously, there's different strategies. People are going to keep, really starting to explore strategies and see if there's anything that might be even more optimal than what exists today. But traditionally, right now, you have those people doing their roles, etc. Runners. What are the deposit boxes used for? Some people might go into those public instances and be like, "What's going on with that? Why does that even exist? Should you not just be running yourself?" Do you want to explain a little bit about that? Anyone watch him?
If I'm brutally honest, I was concentrating and I didn't hear entirely what you said.
Basically, there's deposit boxes, right?
Yes,
and you may have seen that for people watching, they may have seen me just doing it and going, well, hang on, you're getting the materials and then going to the statue that needs those materials. Why is there deposit boxes if that's what you're doing? So do you want to explain what the role of deposit boxes are and how people are tending to use them?
Deposit boxes have a handful of uses. In larger encounters, they can be useful, so you can like deposit slowly as you gather, and you can have a specific runner role, who then someone will run, or there will be multiple people on each node which will run between. What is very useful for them is, sorry, yeah, okay, I'm gathering now. I can just concentrate. What we find the most useful is if you're in a 4-man encounter. Because this allows you to essentially gather enough for one statue, deposit it in the box, then gather enough for another, and then you kind of move around. Someone else will then pick up from your deposit box and run that. So there's a handful of tactics. I'm sure that somebody will have put up a 4-man guide, which will probably go into detail about it, because it is pretty essential and crucial for 4-man. Larger encounters, it's less crucial. But yeah, so I mean, I'll talk about the tactic we use, just because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be unheard of, or people who are already aware. But essentially, what we do is, so I say I'm on mining and I'm on my own because it's a 4-man encounter. I'll gather 16 or so, 1 or 2 extra just in case I get hit by a mechanic and it gets rotten. I then place that in the deposit box. I then continue to clear out the node, gathering another 15 or so for the other statue. I then run like 90 degrees or 180 degrees, depending on what's discussed with the team. Then essentially store the statue, gather from the hot spot, and then run further around. Because I'm unbelievably distracted by the game, that was probably the worst explanation in the world. But yeah, there's definitely guides and things about already, which we'll go into a bit more detail on those.
And for people wondering as well, you know, there's a score that you get that influences the potential quality of drop, right, or share of drop. How does that system work in terms of what is it kind of judging to say, you know, what gives you that score, and then how is it used in terms of the actual kind of loot mechanics within this boss?
Yeah, so every single action you do within the encounter has a contribution value. This value obviously goes up and can go down as well if you do the wrong thing. But yeah, essentially, you know, you're gathering from a node, you get contribution. You restoring a statue, you get contribution. You break somebody out of someone that's stuck in sticky fungus, you remove it, you get contribution. You help with the group distraction, the energy fungus. So yeah, every action has it, depending on how beneficial that is to the group. Depends on the amount of contribution you get. So, you know, like the energy fungus is crucial. If that's left, you'll pretty much screw up an entire encounter. So you get more contribution points for that. Oh, I
was looking at your camera and got tullied. I did the same thing. Oh, and then I just stepped into.
But yeah, so then there's essentially thresholds when you get loot. So depending on your score, depends on how many rolls you'll get on the drop table. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the specific numbers, but you know,
of course, yeah.
You in a 4-man, you've got a very high chance of getting up to 12 drops. Like in encounters where you technically do less, but they're much quicker, you'll get a smaller amount. So yeah, the more you do, the more you help, the more contribution you get, the more rewarded you are because of it. Yeah, at some point I'll probably go into more detail about specifics. For now, I'm not going to, because you know it's half the fun.
How many people out there, by the way, have defeated Croesus? How many people in chat have got this done at this point? How many of you looking for kills? Sound off in chat. I'd love to hear how many of you have been able to do it so far. Actually, Blinded dived.
I'm struggling to concentrate at this extent.
Rubik
like
70. Oh, a lot of high KCs on here. 14. Haven't done it yet. So lots of people in chat have been able to do it. So, is other mining covered? This is where I kind of struggle. Yeah, lots of kills, no kills. Done. So public instance, go check out. Do people need fish? So,
yeah, we need fish.
That's obviously my responsibility, and we know I clearly can't talk and
sandbagging us clearly.
Yeah. Oh, this is honestly dreadful.
Yeah, well, I've got a bunch of unused things. My contribution has been like nothing on this one, so welcome to my world. Yeah. I ran to do my usual statue and someone had already done it, and it broke my heart. Has anyone done... Oh, hang on. I don't think anyone's done Vendi. I'll go to Vendi. Is mining done at Vendi?
Mining is, mining is, yeah.
Okay. That's the worst as well. Like, when you're like, you think you've got there first, and then you find out you haven't done it, and you're like, well, I ripped my contribution score. It's gonna happen. Oh, by the way, for people who have been in public instances, we just released a hotfix just before the stream, didn't we, for an issue with the Leviathan that caused nodes to not always spawn in public instances, right?
Yeah, there was a hotfix went out probably half an hour ago. Like it was it's been pretty uncommon, but more common in public encounters or larger team encounters, where essentially there's a chance that it could get deleted
There we
when
go.
it changes to rotten. But yeah, that's been
Afraid to pray?
fixed, so you shouldn't do that
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, and for those of you on here, there's some of you saying about in pubs you've not been able to find that good experience to have that boss kill. If it helps you, I kind of spent some time at lunchtime because I wanted to see what the public experience was like day 2 too. This is the first time I play in a group. The group bossing world worked out, as did the Elder God Wars dungeon world. So I think the group bossing world was 68, if I recall off the top of my head. So check out those worlds, jump in, see what can happen, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you find a public fight that works for you and you get your first kills. Pubs last night were great, apparently, according to Clone as well. But yeah, best world for public lobby was 68, I believe. It's the one that's called group bossing. There's a lot of people hanging out there that, and you can just jump into a public instance, and hopefully everyone's seen a guide or at least played it enough to get a feel for it, and you'll get your first kill. Good luck. It took me a while too, but once it happens, and yeah, good luck. What was my contribution score? 117. That a little bit higher than I expected.
Mine was 88.
I don't know what I did.
Truly 88.
It's so bad.
Dude,
Leeching.
whilst we're here, bear in mind you're going to destroy Shrew's contribution score, which is going to help me. So let's do it. Does anyone have any questions about the Croesus front? And any questions about the making of it, the skilling boss? One story whilst we're gathering those questions as well. I really love the fact that Shrew, you said one of the ways you develop this, obviously it's a brand new thing to RuneScape, right? It's the first ever time we've done a skilling boss, at least full scale, the official skilling boss. I know some people feel like Big Game Hunter is an unofficial one, but from your perspective, what was it like making this? What was the kind of experience when you bring all those groups together and finding strategies? How did that work out? Was it kind of similar to the experience you saw day one on Twitch? Was it very different because it's a room full of designers? What was that like?
I mean, every time we played it to start with, so obviously this update has gone through a lot of iterations, and I mean every single developer, JMod, who is currently playing this encounter with us, has been unbelievably crucial to this overall update, and that everybody has taken so much time to play, iterate, give feedback. Sorry, I just seen comments. So yeah,
Oh no, I'm going to ask you those questions. I'm just gathering those in the chat, Shrew, for you. So you can see them.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask you them.
But yeah, sorry. Initially, yeah, they've been very similar. We must have played for hours before we kind of worked out, and half of the fun, genuinely, while developing this, has been making small changes, then jumping in and seeing how that affected the overall encounter and how it affected the dynamics of roles and things like that. So there has been a lot of trying to validate almost every single thing we've done through both through internal playtesting and things like that. But yeah, obviously, okay, that's everyone. I'm gonna start it because okay, that's yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah.
So distracted. It's so funny.
Honestly,
I know the feeling.
I
Trust me,
really
it took me a long time to learn to do this. It took streamers are hardcore. Their ability to play at such an amazing level, especially PVMers, and just talk and talk and talk like it's nothing, is unbelievable. I don't know how they do it.
If I wasn't, I don't know. It's because of how I have to be paying attention to that. I have to try and be paying attention to what I'm talking
True,
about.
as chat suggested, maybe the next one we sit out so we can ask you a few things on the next one, because I think people were really interested to hear you. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright. No, don't apologise. We're here to play and talk. So it's called a Let's Play for a reason. But I think it'll just help you as well.
Let's play and chat nonsense. That doesn't make sense.
Or either chat things that do make sense and then lose at the game, or don't say anything that makes sense and actually defeat the boss. It's literally a mix.
Can't do two things.
So going to gather some questions from chat here that I'm going to ask you. In fact, I will save them for the next run because I know they're going to be there. Chat, we are gathering your questions and asking them. I'll ask as many as I can. Thank you, Sponge, for helping out a little bit here. Wow, worst movement EU.
One thing I will mention at this point, while I can probably talk as well. One thing we have changed, I'm not sure how many people have noticed, but there's many like skilling. They went too far. Yeah, there's been many like skilling items, main hands, off hands, and things like that, which now allow you to bladed dive with. So you know, like your pickaxes, actually they potentially were anyway, but you know, butterfly nets, your skilling off hands, all of those are now usable with bladed dive. So within this encounter, obviously, like there's options from ability. So if you have that, you know, you can now use your skilling items to actually bladed dive, which is a nice little addition, especially like, you know, the mushroom patches.
Oh, get rid of the energy fungus if we're not ready to. Oh, I'm sticky fungus.
I really want this thing as a pet. I don't know why, it just appeals to me. I like this weird little ball fungus.
Well,
thing.
you like Jello?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think that's what it comes down to.
I love how American I got there, Jello. Like, you can tell I was in Canada for a while, so calling it jelly. Let's go. So, as a question for you, Sponge, what's your initial feedback as thoughts on any of the feedback around the rewards you designed so far? Have you seen much? As I know, obviously, people have only kind of just got to grips with the boss, so I know a lot of people are still chasing. Have you got anything you want to cover on the rewards front?
There's not been a great deal through yet. Obviously, not many people have got their hands on the offhands yet, and because of that, not many arrows are coming in. Obviously, some people have commented on like, oh, the arrows are very expensive, but that's because there's like between, I don't know, there's probably around 100 people tops with the offhands, so there's not going to be many arrow tips coming in right now. So I'm not going to do anything with that right now. I want to see kind of where they settle at, because obviously with day 2, the more offhands that come in, the more arrow tips is going to come in. So then once we kind of have a baseline of how many are coming in, how many are leaving, then we can kind of do something with that. But I'm not going to touch them right now. And for the armor, I've actually not seen anyone like really using it yet. I think that's probably to do with how expensive it is right now. I've seen a few.
Also chasing the money
Sorry.
at Croesus first as well.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen a few people in like the PVM discords have it, and I've been trying out a few different places, but I've not got much back in the way of feedback yet. But as soon as I do, I mean, I like to kind of get things where they should be, so I'll chase up any feedback as soon as it starts coming in.
By the way, Shrew won't be joining us on this one. Shrew, what position were you at, by the way?
Position, sorry. Oh, I was
where were you? Okay, cool. So hopefully someone can cover that. I can ask you some questions now. This one I know you probably can't answer, right? Because we don't tend to talk about future content plans. So, you know, I'm going to ask it in a way of your thoughts more specifically. Is this going to open the door to future skilling bosses, high and low level? What's your kind of take on that, Shrew?
I mean, so I really can't make a call on yes or no there, but a personal opinion is I would love to see more. I would, love to see more skilling bosses, like solo skilling bosses, group skilling bosses, like potentially hard modes, you know, of Croesus maybe even. But you know, that really is a personal opinion, and we'll do a lot more monitoring of the current content before I think any decisions could be made there.
I think as well, it's really important to say, like, it's not always visible, but they're constantly looking at what everyone's saying in the community, and that's always being brought into the studio and being considered in everything we're doing. If you love this, let us know. Like, tell us your feedback on it. Tell us what you'd want to see more of from it, and what you want to see changed or done differently. Or just keep the feedback coming, because if you let us know you love it and we see lots of players playing it, it's, you know, the kind of thing that can help guide our development. So keep it coming, because, you know, we're always out there reading, and it always makes a difference, even when it's, you know, directly visible because someone's starting a conversation there with you, or if it's behind the scenes. Oh, I didn't see the fairy rings! I made a classic mistake. Now I'm going the wrong way. Okay. is the core gathering type based off the first depleted resource? I think what that means is, you know, the center of Croesus.
The
Oh
center.
god, I'm completely the opposite
the
side.
Croesus center is entirely random per kill. It's random. Well, one for variety, two because obviously we have the soups which can boost damage and well, yeah, damage to the Croesus and success chance. So not being able to perfectly predict that, like, kind of adds a little bit more player choice. You know, do you consume it straight away and gather quicker at the nodes and then have a little bit of risk of having a negative damage at the boss, or do I wait until I know what the central node is and then I can consume the soup and do extra damage? But yeah, it's entirely random. I've seen some people suggesting it's the first one cleared out, but it's not. It's entirely random.
Cool. Do fishing rods work at the boss? They don't get inventory XP or invention XP. Sorry.
I don't. So the fishing uses net fishing. So potentially not. I mean, I will actually look because I'm not 1000% sure off the top of my head. Like any benefits and stuff through core skills like that, I feel should be beneficial, and like you should be able to use to get bonuses and additional progress and things. Rod, I'm not 100% sure on.
We need timber on our farming, by the way, or on fishing. Timber on fishing. If anyone's listening out there, it would be cool if this fungus affected the fairy ring teleport somehow in a quest. I love that idea too. That's super cool. The different coloured rock opportunities on the middle, do they have different effects? So obviously we see red, green, and a kind of yellowy orange one. Do they have different effects?
Yeah, I did briefly mention it earlier, but yeah, depending on when you see one of the particles, if you re-opt, like reselect, start gathering from again, there will be an effect. The white will deal a small amount of damage, additional damage with a poison hit splat. Green will deal a larger amount, again poison hit splat, and red will heal the boss. So you want to avoid, obviously, reselecting when the red's up. You do get shouted at by Gorvek if you do, but yeah, you want to try and take advantage of the green and white particles, because especially when you're lower level, these can really help bring up that damage, and can really just help those tighter encounters.
Okay, don't worry. Actually, I said restore fishing statue, but I managed to restore it in time. I was worried I was going to be too slow on my own, because you normally two-person the restores. Oh, we don't need it. Oh, big talk from the RS team. How can you tell what resource a statue is missing when looking at it from a distance?
So you may have noticed there's head bars above all of the statues. So above every single statue, there's two different color head bars. The color represents the fungus, and if you look at the fungus in your inventory, if it's red, it's timber fungus. The bars that are red, that represents your progress to filling it with timber fungus. So at a distance, you can see roughly, I might need 2 or 3 more, or you can only see a little bit of red. I need 15. So yeah, there's obviously red is timber fungus. Yellow is the calcified fungus. Bluey color is spores, and the green is algae. So yeah, that's the easiest way to see from a distance exactly like where your progress is at. If you don't see any head bar above it, then it's got enough. It's fully stocked, or it's prayed at, or it's restored. So yeah, that is the easiest way.
Let's start our last run here, by the way, for time. Do magic butterfly nets and crystal rod's secondary effects for catch rate actually work in Croesus?
The magic butterfly nets definitely do. I would double check the fishing rod. Again, with the fishing rod, just worth noting as well that you should also be able to bladed dive again with that now. Just worth mentioning again.
Are you skipping this one again, Shrew, by the way?
I can jump. Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll just try and if you're gonna ask a question,
I'll show the head
randomly.
bars, by the way. There's some people asking about the head bars. I'll show you the head bars. For all the RS team watching, please leave the statue at fishing, because then I can show it that way. Only for mining. If you're
as soon
mining
as the
on,
encounter starts, you can have a look.
yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, let's kick it off. Let's kick the encounter off.
Yeah, if you look at the head bars now. So if you look above the statues, you've got
Yeah, I see it. There you go.
But yeah, so you see like that one there. There's red and blue. So you know that is you need timber fungus and you need the fungal spores. Yeah, we obviously as that progresses, you know it fills. So you can see the progress towards full. Yeah.
Whoa, almost got tellied. So yeah, so that's how you can read it.
I've just seen someone mention Tavia's fishing rod, and if we can add the bladed dive thing to that, I don't see why not. I think that's perfectly doable,
Yep.
right?
Thank you. I was just about to ask you that question. Are there any invention perks which help or hinder in this encounter?
So any invention perks like furnace that technically would hinder have been disabled. So like any invention perk that would naturally like benefit the skill. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but you know, if your skills, if your
Like
tools are
honed.
augmented with it, and yeah, like honed, they'll make a positive difference. But yeah, things like furnace and I think refined, like they won't work because they would damage the encounter overall. Yeah.
You can tell, like the silent concentration. Oh, I think this is already full. Oh no, it's not. There you go. Oh, I took 14. I can't count. Someone get a calcified fragment on fishing.
Like,
please.
If you look at the
My
head
maths
bar now,
failed me.
be...
My inventory maths. Yeah, no, I did look up at it. I'm gonna get that just in case. There's a question about tier 3 troves. Are any of you able to talk about kind of the difference in a tier 3 versus a tier 2? Obviously, the feedback here is that they feel like they're dropping at a slower rate, but it feels like you get the same loot, so it's almost like a nerf. Is there anything we can say about the tier 3 troves?
I mean, I don't know the specifics, but you are eligible for better rewards from the tier 3s. But yeah, I'm not 1000% on the specifics there. The troves were done by
different team members, right?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see if we can get you some information on that as well. So when we have the info, we'll let you know. Okay. Okay, we're in. Cool. Other questions I'm trying to grab. Does anyone have any other questions as well? Like, we'd love to hear your questions if you have any more just before we go out. It's always fun playing this kind of like day 2 now. Obviously, we did day 1 for Node On, but we're trying to do day 2 now. Just give the team some time to absorb your feedback and all that sort of stuff. It'd be great to know everything as well. Oh, is there a possibility for a real-time contribution counter being displayed on the HUD?
I mean, there's nothing to say we couldn't do it. I mean, probably not for now. It's definitely yeah. There's nothing to specifically say we couldn't do it. We could look at doing something like that, but
that's quite low priority, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it intentional that the wood cutting offhand doesn't work on bloodwood trees?
The extra wood chance is that. If so, yes. So bloodwood trees have their own like specific bit of code that you need to specifically plug into. So just to be mindful of how many are coming into the game, it won't give extra logs on that currently. If it's super common bit of feedback that it should do it, I can look into it. But it was intended to not give extra logs for it. I think on it says core logs as well, which Bloodwood Tree isn't. But again,
Some feedback here.
Sorry, I was just saying I'm open to everyone's feedback.
Mhm.
Just gonna give it a bit to see it all come in.
Yeah. There's a question here as well. Sorry, some feedback here as well. Feeling that the skilling half fans from Croesus don't particularly help in the boss fight, where an offhand with with mobile is more useful. Is that something we're thinking about, or have seen, or considering, or is that kind of new feedback to us at this stage?
Well, sorry, I zoned out. If that was directed at me.
I think it was more towards you, Sponge. Basically, it's like, why do the skilling offhands from Croesus not help in the boss fight? It's at a point where an offhand with mobile is more useful.
I mean, like, you have the mobile relic and stuff, right? And the offhands do help, like the mining and
Scientist and
woodcutting
archaeology.
the mining and woodcutting ones especially help on those nodes, because it essentially just gives you the free resources. Or I don't think the mining one will actually do much because this doesn't really use the crit system. But yeah, I mean, it is something, and there's always space for obviously having these augmentable in the future. I personally, like, this isn't an actual thing, but I think it'd be cool if before we made them augmentable, we had better and more skilling perks, rather than just making them augmentable for the sake of it. I think it'd be nice if we actually had some content to go with that.
Cool. All right, that about wraps it up for us today. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've been having a blast out there with the Croesus front. Keep the feedback coming. Keep letting us know what you think. As I mentioned, if you want to keep a track of any issues that you're aware of and you're waiting to hear about a fix, we're listing all known, major known issues over on, well, I say major, anything that's notable, really. They're not all major, but we're listing any of those on the survival guide on RuneScape.com. So head over to RuneScape.com and hit the Croesus survival guide. Now, on top of a bunch of interesting information in there, there's also that, and people showing off fancy tellies. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We hope you had fun on that. If you haven't killed Croesus yet, my best advice, just some my own personal experiences, go check out the group bossing world. I think it's World 68. There's some great people in there and a lot of really good public instances, and people are starting to learn how to do this. So you can sit in there, you can absorb, you can kind of take a backseat role, and as you get more and more confident, really start having an impact on it. Other than that, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on stream as usual. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Thanks all.
Bye.